Awesome.
Even though it's Macklemore, it's a nice gay anthem.
Oh yeah.
Same Love is a good song. It has a good message and
Yeah.
really ties into what we'll be discussing today.
And
Um,
Mackie more.
More
and
Mackie.
Mackie more.
More Mackie.
Welcome to the Good Fight Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Emcee, and we have Jillmothy and Rocket. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you do. This is a very special and important episode. Want y'all listen in. This is a very personal, also very exciting episode. We celebrate one of the best things on this planet. So just feel it. You gotta feel the good vibes.
All three of us, I think, relate to this topic in different ways, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, you betcha.
Yeah. So this is our Pridesode. So it's gay stuff and LGBTQ+. A lot of it is actually going to be based on the responses that you gave to the survey that was sent out last night. So we're going to be talking a little bit about what Pride is for our community and for us.
Tying in with that, our PSA for today is love 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 is love.
Baba is you.
Love is love.
You can't say it enough, can you? Because how true is it, Emcee?
Love, man. Basically, that means love no matter what form it comes in, no matter what gender is loving what other gender, or how
love is Baba is you.
Yeah, basically. I have no idea what that's referencing, but I'm gonna pretend that I understand.
It's a game that Chaos plays on his big brain stream.
Sponsored by Kiss.
Oh, right. I was like, I know what that is. It sounds familiar. So yeah, that's our PSA. I'll talk about announcements at the end of the episode.
I think we can drop some of them in before. Just the suggestion. Use the suggestion box. It's pinned by Cassie. We haven't got a lot of people using it, so definitely do that. We will remind you again at the end of the episode.
Because if there's things you want to see, things you want improved, things you're like, I like this, maybe you could work on this. We'd love to hear any and all comments, criticisms, and suggestions. We can't say it enough. Check the suggestion box.
If you don't like what you're hearing, you can use it to complain. We want to know what you like and what you don't like. So if you don't like the podcast, you can change the podcast, kind of, you know?
In the script, gender is a social construct and daylight savings is capitalist propaganda. Strike through. So
I put a strike through it because I didn't think we could go into that right now.
That's a moondog energy, which I love to see it.
That is my daily mantra. I repeat it to myself 10 times every morning.
Pritty's asking in chat how they send a suggestion.
A suggestion can be sent through the suggestion box, which is in the pins that you can click at the top of the chat box. There's a little pin symbol, and then you click it, and then you scroll down, and you find a lovely message from Cassie that says Forms, the Good Fight Podcast suggestion box, and then it allows you to fill in whatever information you would like so as we can implement it, therefore, in future episodes. And Cassie will check it occasionally, and I will try to remember to remind her because we forget to check it often. But please fill it with ideas. Yes.
Well, it doesn't really matter that we don't check it often because no one's using it. But once you use it, then we will be able to check it more often because it'll be at the top of our minds.
Well, we're like, no way, someone wants something done. Let's check it.
Yeah.
I mean, the more useful the suggestion box is, the more likely we're like, hey, we should check the suggestion box more because it's been working out for us.
Who are you calling that mean word?
Me. Of course it's me.
It's like,
who else would it be?
I get called that word a lot. But, you know, it's fair. I totally understand why.
That's rough, buddy.
It's not going to be okay. You're not very... I can't say it! Anyway.
It's a banned word on the podcast because it's going to come up later in this episode.
Technically, we can. This is a General Rebel Federation podcast.
Excellent.
There's no children.
We're just vibing. But with that being said, I think we should vibe into our beautiful, lengthy segment about Pride. That spells Pride. Yeah! There it is. Pride.
So we'll start with the brief history, because today is the 51st anniversary of the Stonewall riots. And does Steax want to come read that? I don't know. Steax, you let me know, because you wrote this. So, if you want to read it.
Well, until Steax responds, if you don't know what Stonewall was, it was a bunch of riots. I don't know how many riots. It was riots at the Stonewall Inn.
Yeah. First gay pride was a riot, everybody.
The Stonewall Inn was a gay bar in New York City, and it was police raided the bar, and then LGBTQ plus people of all kinds expressed their dissent to being disrupted in this manner, and from there kind of paved the way to change history and the perspective of LGBT people.
The police raids had actually been happening more frequently because the gay community felt they were unable to fight back, and then eventually they had had enough. And so we remember Marsha P. Johnson, a black trans woman who is known for throwing the first brick that day. So, way to go.
It's also a more general celebration of LGBTQ plus pride because of all of the silence and, as we put it, closetedness that we've had to endure as a queer community, just trying to stay silent, to get jobs, to not be attacked, to be accepted in general in the community, in the public, in society. And so being able to loudly claim for an entire month and for especially this day that we are part of that community and we are proud of it is a big deal, and it's really important.
Yeah, it's very much like the we're here, we're queer, get used to it.
Yeah, because there are tons of LGBTQ plus people in your life that you may or may not even know about, and they're here and they're gonna stay. It's not some kind of illness. It's not something you choose. It's a part of you. It's not all of you, but it's certainly a crucial part of people. And it's our job to not only tolerate it, but to embrace it in all times of our life. And haha, I'm going to swing it to current events. In these 51 years since the Stonewall riots, there's actually been a decent amount of progress being made. Not enough, but a decent amount of progress. I'm going to put something in the chat from the BBC article. I've been following this case for several months now, and it was only recently that the US Supreme Court, at least federally speaking, is allowed sexual representation and gender identity to be a part of Title IX Civil Rights Act. It's been a long debate, and it basically just adds in the words sexual representation and gender identity to a bunch of these legal documents that basically defend LGBT people in the workplace. And that's like freaking huge.
As someone who's not in the US, I just learned that now. So when did this happen?
This happened very recently, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it says the 15th on the article.
I remember back in the start of my school year, I was looking at these cases and they've been on hold for months, and they said we're going to come to a decision next June. I'm like, that's a really long time. But no, it passed 6-3, even in a conservative environment. But I mean, hey, so there's always changes being happen.
LGBTQ rights are human rights, so
they are.
And I'm glad that they're getting there. People are starting to understand it more.
Especially at a time when you hear a lot about how some of the rollbacks of things are happening. Trump administration keeps pulling back different things that were already guaranteed in the first place, and we're just getting rid of all of that casually.
Moon would like us to mention how gay marriage has existed for a longer amount of time than the Confederacy.
You're right. The Confederacy lasted for 5 years, and gay marriage, at least in the United States, has been legal for over 5 years now. So congratulations to that.
Canada, I think, legalized it in the country in 2005, but where I am, it was 2003 was when it started.
Yeah. There's still heavy contention as to gay marriage rights or LGBT marriage rights around the world. And even then, even if on the US Supreme Court level that it was approved, gay marriage, it's not exactly the same situation in every US state. I'm going to put this demographic in here that I picked up. Australia, they had a fight. They had gay marriage legal for 7 days, and then it was taken away. And it's been years, and I'm not sure if it's legal now or there's some stipulations around it. But there's a big debate whether, civil union rights. No, it's not.
And even though it's legal in Canada recently, they did find out that a quarter of people do not like it. But
to get less
political, they just have to suck it up.
I am thinking about how in a lot of culture it's definitely coming out more and more, and I'm going to bring it back to my profile picture. I loved watching She-Ra recently because it's a children's show on Netflix. It's easily accessible for kids that has so much queer representation, and it's wild to me. The main character I don't know what her sexuality is, but she falls in love with a woman, and that's all that matters. I don't even care what her sexuality is. She falls in love with a woman, they're together and they're girls. And you've got Dragon Prince, which has gay queens, and I love them so much.
Oh my god. There's also another good kids animated show on Netflix, Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts. Has a great non-binary representation as well as other gay characters I'm not fully aware of, but highly recommended by myself and Starship. Please give all these shows a watch if you're looking for great kids shows that are animated that also give great representation. Putting that out there.
Excellent. And it's wonderful that the kill your gays trope is slowly disappearing. Please don't kill your gays.
The things I want to see more and more, obviously gay marriage is important and all of that, trans rights and non-binary rights and gender neutral, I just want to see it just keep expanding and further into those realms, because seeing gay dads on television is amazing, but there's still a whole expansive spectrum that we can get involved in and learn more about and see more normalized and mainstream, and I look forward to seeing that happen.
All right. And we should hop on to starting to talk about the survey, because now we're talking less about the big world and more about right here in Rebel Federation. And I mean, because these are literally your answers. So, first off, I put the 2 questions at the beginning about color to kind of just ease it in so I don't start off right away with, hey, what's your sexuality? I didn't want to just throw that in there. Yes, Cassie did come up with the first 2 questions for me.
It's ironic because the percentage of people who answered purple is a majority, and
anymore.
That's her favorite color.
It's purple tied with blue now. Because more people took the survey. Purple and blue are tied as Rebel Federation's favorite colors. And
you love to see it.
Blue and purple are 2 of my favorite colors too. So orange is my absolute favorite. So someone else answered orange. Thank you. You don't have to say who you are because
blue. What? I didn't hear anything.
Blue's better. I'm just saying.
But I do want to just briefly read 2 amazing answers about why is that your favorite color? I think this person's talking about blue. They said, mostly because it reminds me of the ocean, serene and peaceful, reminds you of all that life has to offer, or massive and unforgiving, threatening to swallow up everything in its path. Some people interpret that as rage. I interpret it as ambition. The ambition and resolve to not let anything slow me down, just like a tsunami and everything in its path. And wow.
That was
a good answer.
That was a paragraph. I'm impressed, honestly. Because I just wrote good color.
And then we'll probably find out who said that, or what color they're talking about, I should say.
I'm assuming it's blue because of the ocean part.
Yeah, it's blue.
Yeah. Someone, I don't know what color they were talking about, but if someone else wants to read it, because I have my no swearing thing.
Oh, yeah, that's Jill's rule. Yeah, I can do it. Yeah. I don't care. This person is talking about the color pink, and their reaction is, very simple, very, very on the nose. It's such a bad bitch color, And I mean, it's not wrong. I fully agree.
I love that answer.
Quite simply, you'll love to see it. That's just on the table for you.
Yes. But now we're going to move on to more of our pride stuff, now that we have decided that purple and blue are wonderful colors. So the first question was, what is your sexuality? And most of the people that answered the survey are bi. I kind of thought most people were going to be straight.
Hey! What?
I was wrong.
Wow. Heteronormative much? Kidding.
Be happy.
Most people are straight, I think. I don't know. I don't really think that much
in
general at all. We do have some people out here who are questioning. Well, we have one person out here questioning. So you keep going. You got this. We are all here for you.
It's okay. We've all been there before. At least, I don't know. Maybe some people don't have a period where they're questioning, but for me, I definitely had to take a minute and think about it for a while and figure out what it is.
I spent a very long time just questioning, first of all, what am I? And then it kind of was, am I bi? Am I pan? Am I lesbian? Am I gay? And then I found the word queer, and I just kind of went, yeah, there we go. It's kind of the lazy way out for me, Not for other people. I'm just saying for my personal reasons, it's the lazy way of me just going not otherwise specified.
I'm having about a 3 to 5 month period. I think that was about what happened with me.
Yeah, so we have people from all over. We have people who are gay, lesbian, straight, bi, pan, demi, ace. Questioning.
Look at that representation. That's everywhere.
Some demi-romantic. So this community is very diverse in that sense.
I am so proud of this community.
And for
Look at us go.
How did you realize you were LGBTQ+? I always mess up the acronym. I put 2 of them that I really thought were good. One of them was when my friends told me that if someone liked girls, that they meant they were a lesbian, and I was like, oh. So, I feel for you. I actually had a similar situation with that. It was probably my first month of high school. And in elementary school, I didn't know what gay was or anything like that. I didn't know. And then first week of high school, I saw 2 girls kiss, and I went, wait, what? You can do that? So yeah, I get you. And then the other one that...
Sorry, I just read Cassie's. I know for sure it's Cassie's because it references great comments on it. Hers says, I saw a great comment on Broadway and Amber Grace sang Charming, and I went, oh. That was it for her.
Yeah. Amazing. And another one that I feel this one, it's not as happy, unfortunately. Wait, this is the wrong answer.
That's the wrong number.
Okay, I'm back in the right spot. I really kind of always knew that I was ace because I was just never interested in those kinds of relationships. But I actually found out about the terminology around 8th or 9th grade. So some people did always know, but maybe they didn't know quite what it was. So that is definitely...
Yeah, there's a lot that you learn about how many options you have as you get older and learn more about this community and all of the things surrounding it.
Yeah,
you're like, wait, that's a thing? I can be that too?
Wait, so I don't just have to be gay or straight. There's other ones in there.
It's like when you unlock more characters in the game, it's like, oh, I can play as them?
I have options? There's options about what I can call myself?
It's really awesome too, because especially if you've been feeling that for a long time and you don't know what it is, and you're like, I don't fit in either of these boxes. What box do I fit in? And then suddenly someone's like, we have 4 boxes over here, and you can fit in any of them.
And you find
you're
one that's your size.
You're like, that one's mine. That's so awesome. I've been looking for you forever.
I love this box. This is the box that I feel the most comfortable in. And someone else who is my hero just put girls are hot.
I mean...
Yeah, they are.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I don't know. It was short, sweet, to the point, and I loved it.
Yes, I agree.
I also read that way after I should have been in bed last night, and I had to share that line in the podcast chat. I was just like, girls are hot.
I really, I saw 2 girls kiss and was like, that's allowed?
That's my answer. I filled it in last night because I wanted to have it just in case I panicked.
It is indeed allowed.
Yes, girls are allowed to kiss other girls. I didn't know until I was 14.
I'm shook.
What about you guys?
Boys can kiss boys too.
Oh my gosh, no way.
And people who don't fit in a gender box or whatever, everyone can kiss anyone as long as they both want it.
It's cool.
As long as they both want to.
As long as it's consensual with all parties involved, kiss whoever you want.
Girls can kiss girls, but that doesn't mean you should just go around kissing girls.
Don't kiss every girl unless every girl wants to kiss you and you want to kiss every girl.
Well, that is cool.
Do either of you have good stories about how you realized this at all?
Mine was just saw 2 girls kiss and went, oh, that's allowed. I didn't know it was a thing.
I mean, it was kind of a long time of mostly accepting myself. But in terms of story, I mean, you can trace it down to boy in school, see other boy. Oh, God. But, yeah.
Oh, God.
That's kind of the story there. You increasingly become more comfortable with yourself, and you're like, hey, I like that.
I also noticed there's a really big range for when did you realize you were LGBTQ.
There is. You can be 50. You can be
yeah, you can be whatever
7.
age. I do kind of want to read mine because it's really funny, I think, because I've always kind of known, I just didn't know what it was, but when I was a kid, I thought that girls had to marry boys, but girls all liked each other, and they just married boys to keep them involved. And so when people in elementary school started dating each other, not dating each other, the girls started dating the boys and all that, I was like, why are you doing this before you have to? I don't get it. And then in high school, I saw 2 girls kiss, and I was like, oh. Oh,
Yeah,
some girls actually do like boys.
Yeah, actually, media is a big part of that. Seeing representation, seeing people like you on the screen, they're like, boys kissing. And it's important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening, especially at a young age. Small PSA also, if people tell you that you're not ready or you don't know what you're talking about, they suck, because you are allowed to think whatever you want and go on your own journey. No one can invalidate you for that. Moving on.
Yes. One person knows the exact day that they learned they were gay, and I'm impressed. They wrote December 26th, 2017. I am glad you know that. That's impressive.
Proud of you if you know that.
All I can say is it was September or October sometime in 2013. Somewhere.
It took me until college. And the other thing is I had friends that were gay or trans and stuff like that. And I think that just with family and stuff, it took me until college to allow myself to be okay with exploring that side. And so I think for a while I was just adamant that I was not, because I was like, well, there's no way. My whole family's straight. It's just not a thing in our family.
Yeah, I am the first person in my family to not be straight that we know of, so I had no idea that it was a thing at all. I thought that the word gay was just an insult, because that's all it was used for.
And some people still believe that, which is very sad.
Yeah, people call me that, I just go, yeah, I am.
I really hate that.
Or they'll be like, that's so gay, and I'm like, ah, same. Like, I would just throw it out there.
Relatable.
Cassie says that she can pin when she realized she was bi.
Oh, it was in this chat? I realized I was bi when I fell in love with a friend of mine in the middle of college. And that was when I was like, well, we can't deny this anymore. We can't stop falling in love. You can't just dismiss that. So I guess we're here now.
You can't just shove that one under the rug.
Yeah, well, it turned out okay.
That's good. That is good.
We're not going to get into that.
Yeah.
So the next question is about gender?
Yes. So, actually, most of us are not cisgender, but cisgender was the largest answer. There are a large chunk of us that are non-binary, agender, demi, and a few of us are questioning. I will personally raise my hand and say that that is me, and I have been shoving it under the rug since I was 16. That's when I first started to question gender and stuff, but because I play high-level sports, I'm on my college's soccer team, and I play lots of female sports, I can't worry about it right now, because if I wasn't entirely female, they'd be like, you're not playing on the team, and sports. Sports! I'd rather play sports than deal with that right now, so been shoving it under the rug for a very long time. So it's great. And I'm sitting in my basement so my parents can't hear me. And I told them not to disturb me. So
yeah, I keep voice checking myself, and I'm like, we can't have my dad hear that.
Yeah, same. I'm like looking at the door. I'm like, oh shit.
I'm like, they're oblivious.
They didn't hear that.
They didn't hear that.
Jill, did you just curse?
I did. Yeah, sorry guys. Okay.
All right, take 2 of the podcast. Let's start it.
Alright, yeah, we're gonna just start over.
Okay, I will have you guys know I've been talking to my family all day, and I actually swear like a trucker all the time. And RF is the only place where I don't swear, so please let me not swear here. I'm trying to fix my language somewhere.
Don't do it again.
Oh no. Someone just fire me from the podcast for that.
No, we need you.
I don't swear in here, but I do swear a lot.
I swear I don't swear. Ah, fuck.
Yeah, I have very foul language. Anyway, when did you realize your gender identity? A lot of people, once again, it's everywhere.
When I learned about gender is my favorite answer so far.
Yeah, I learned about gender and went, oh, that's great.
Well, and that's just because a lot of people are not non-binary, not genderqueer, just cis. So I figured out what gender was, and I was like, yeah, pretty much the one. I think I said birth in my answer.
Minus I've been fighting on and off with my gender identity since I was 16. But someone just put never. That was the only word.
No, never.
Never. And that's fair. It's just a work in progress. I've just kind of, those of you that are questioning, what I've been doing to help myself get through it is I just sort of be myself and not throw a label on it at all. I've just kind of done what makes me happy and not worried about anything in that way. I don't know if that helps, but that's just what I've been doing. It's been working for me.
Yeah, the next question is about being out. So it says, who are you out?
There is actually two.
Oh, there's when and there's how. My bad. Go back.
Yeah, the when and the how. Did I write my how? I don't think I did. Oh, mine I just said, I don't feel like I'm entirely a girl or entirely a boy or entirely anything. I just don't know. And I haven't had time to think about it because I just keep pushing it under the rug. But someone here said,
that's the other thing. How can you tell the pickles from the peanut butter if there's no labels on the jars?
I like them both. I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't gotta label it. You can just labels are easier, as Orky said, but they're not necessary. And people like to simplify things, but it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, labels are just easier for other people, but sometimes you don't find one that you like or that you fit with, or you just don't. Gender's a social construct.
Even with all the terms about sexuality and gender and everything like that, technically you could go your entire life and be like, I'm not straight, I'm not bi, I'm not anything, I'm just me, and that would be perfectly fine.
Sort of why I throw the queer label on. I'm just like, I'm just gonna be me, and all you gotta just.
Most important question is just to ask, hey, what pronouns you want, and that's it. Yeah, you're good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The two answers I really liked from this one is someone said, I didn't feel entirely me. Yes, I was a girl, but there was just another side of me that needed exploring. I originally thought I was just trans, but after posting about it on Instagram, now deleted, someone had informed me about what it was. I looked into it and accepted it as part of me. So that is very brave of you, and I admire that. You were just able to go out on Instagram and be like, hey, here's what's going on. That is a very admirable trait.
I like a complicated answer.
Yeah, and then someone else just said E8, 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 E8. If you're in the Club Penguin division, you know that E8 is just a sick face.
Mom said it's my turn to share the gender.
That is the E8 face.
I'm sorry, Ricky. I had to put out the Club Penguin emote so people understood what we were talking about.
Oh, you said the words. Oh, now they're all gonna leave. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Do you guys have anything to say in regards to gender?
Okay.
I wish I could, but I'm not very qualified in that area. All I know is that everything is valid and trans rights are human rights. That's all.
I'm cis. I don't have much to say. I think that for those of you who are cis and are looking to support the non-binary genders that you encounter, might not know how to handle that. Pronouns and switching them, take time, forgive yourself, and also apologize when you make mistakes.
But don't make a big deal about it if you mess up a pronoun. Just be like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, apologize, don't ignore it, and don't
apologize and keep trying.
Exactly.
An important tip, a then is your friend until you know.
Exactly.
Yes. And it is grammatically correct for you grammarians out there. There's a whole rant I could go on about, but just look up Tom Scott to figure it out.
I just use a mailman example. You're like, did the mailman come by? Did they deliver my mail? Well, it's not a truck full of mailmen. It's just someone delivered your mail.
Right.
Yeah. So. Is someone at the door? Yeah, I'll go get them.
It's one person. So, anyway, moving on.
Asking is the best policy always.
Yes. most people will not be offended if you ask. They will be more grateful instead.
Yeah, please don't be afraid to ask. It's really stupid when people are like, "Oh, it's rude to ask. Don't want to offend people." No, they're just a person, and they want you to talk to them like they're a person.
And who are you out to about your sexuality? And I just did kind of a check all that apply and just made a giant list. Most of us are out to ourselves, so that's good. And the same amount are out to our internet friends and our friends, but it is pretty low when it comes to
Family's
family,
moderate.
roommates, coworkers. But I feel like that's just because some of us don't have roommates or coworkers. And the world was actually higher than I thought. I thought there would be lots of internet friends and not a whole lot of other stuff. So a lot of us are more out than I predicted we would be.
So. I think it's really interesting because internet friends and IRL friends is a little easier to tell. Family is obviously somewhat difficult depending on what kind of family you have and what kind of people they are. Roommates and coworkers is interesting to me because oftentimes you're just meeting these people and you don't know how they'll take it, and then you have to build up a relationship in order for you to feel comfortable telling them. I didn't even think about that when I was reading it. I was like, oh, am I out to my coworkers? And then I had to think about it. I was like, have I told anyone? I don't think I have.
And it depends on the job too, because when I was working at a car dealership with a bunch of boomers, I did not say a word. But when I was working at the museum with a bunch of people my age who are very much like me, we discovered that half the village is gay. So
Always good.
It depends on the situation. We were reenacting 1914, and then half the village is gay, which was not acceptable by the laws and stuff at that time. But oh, how those people would be rolling in their graves. Sucks to be them.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah.
I like the next question.
And who are you out with your gender?
Yeah, who did you come out to first and how did it go?
Oh yeah. With the gender for coming out, it was pretty much the same in terms of who people were out to and whatnot. I know for me that I'm way more open with my sexuality because people generally are more accepting of it, which sucks. But that's how it is right now. But yeah, who did you first?
I didn't even realize there were two graphs there because they looked exactly.
It's the exact same question, but one's sexuality, one's gender. But yeah, who did you first come out to, and how did it go? Someone said one of my genderqueer online friends, and they supported me endlessly. Still look to them for advice to this day, which is amazing. I'm very glad that the first time you came out went really well. And the next one is that I also thought was good was I first came. Well, I don't think it's good. I think it's sad, but I think it's good to read. I first came out to my mother about my demisexuality, but it ended up going not so great. She complained that I was just normal and I didn't have any defenses because I felt alone, being the only demisexual I knew at the time. My mother has later forgotten this, so I don't consider myself to be out to my family. I feel sad about this one because I've seen it happen to other people. That just you're not taken seriously, even though it's a real thing.
Yeah, no, and the thing about forgetting, I relate to that a lot because I definitely told my sister I was bi. I'm saying that and I'm checking behind me at the door 6 years ago or something like that, and I don't think she remembers anymore because she kind of brushed it off as like phase, right? And kind of was like, "Oh, you're not really," and I'm like, "But yes, I am. Why would I tell you if I wasn't serious?" I'm not kidding. And then never talked about it again, and so it just kind of got brushed under the rug, and so I don't really consider myself out to her. Yeah, technically I'm out, but I don't really know if she remembers or thinks that I actually am.
I get what you mean. I kind of feel that way with my dad. Once again, looking at the door. Because I think he's aware of it because I'm fairly open about it, but he's never acknowledged it. Ever. And he first found out about it over 4 years ago.
Yeah,
so, and we live under the same roof.
Yeah, I've definitely told my mom before, and I think that she kind of still has it in mind sometimes if I were to bring it up, But if I don't bring it up at all, she'll be like, all right, we gotta get you a boyfriend. Girls don't exist.
Oh boy.
I have gotten those things. When you grow up and have a husband, and I'm like, I ain't sure about that one, Chief.
I don't know if I don't know if I want a wife. I don't know what I want, all right? I don't know what's gonna happen in 5 years.
I'm 90% sure that it's not gonna be a dude. Actually, I'm 95% sure.
Who knows? Also, why do I have to get married?
Yeah.
Why is this decision? Why?
Marriage
What
is
if
a
I don't?
normalized American concept, and it doesn't need to be.
Something's wrong with me if I don't get married. What happens if I don't? And then I'm just disappointed in myself for the rest of my life because everyone said that I needed to get married my entire life.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Girl, my hockey team actually gave me a giant speech about that because I was like, I don't know if I want to date anybody because I feel like, yes, I play hockey. Of course I play hockey. I'm Canadian. And she gave me a giant speech. The only reason marriage is pushed so much is because people spend more money when they're dating and they're in relationships because they want to buy things for other people. It's capitalist propaganda.
True, I do like buying things for people, I'm not gonna lie.
So I did really like that. And she's like, just do whatever you want and I will fight other people. And I was like, it's okay. Marriage is capitalist propaganda.
We're
Yes.
friends. We love that.
Friends are lovely.
Valentine's Day, also capitalist propaganda.
Yes.
Facts. American holidays are manufactured. Anyways.
And one other person said they came out to their friend at summer school gym class. It went well.
Yummy.
That's so awful.
I love that, but also, wow.
Because
Did it
it's
just pop out of your mouth by accident?
It's hot and sticky, and you're in gym clothes. What?
And you're like, this is the time. I'm gonna do it.
Right now.
I respect it, though.
In the middle of the beep test. Oh, maybe they were about to do a race and they just went, I'm gay, so the other person stopped and went, wait, what? And so that they had a head start.
I do that during races and it kind of works.
I feel like that would be a very effective thing.
I'm running past them in the starting line. I'm like, man. And then they're like, oh, what the? And I'm like, yes.
Okay, I'm going to move us forward to the next question because we're going to be a full podcast episode and we've just talked about Pride, and I'm fine with that. So the next question was,
do you guys have anything to say about your first coming out?
Oh, you have mine in here. It's literally at the bottom of this. Wait, where is it? You copied and pasted mine into this. Yep, mine is, I was very just drunk and just realizing that I was bi. I came out of my friend's apartment.
The first time you came out?
That was my first.
That was for one of the funny ones. The first time I came out was actually the worst thing ever. Things did not go well because of that horrible incident. The person I thought was my friend ended up being homophobic. Moving on, because it's a horrible. Anyway, it didn't go well, and because of that, people tried to turn me straight, and I tried to repress that part of myself for years. And so I can say that I started high school not knowing what gay meant to ending high school as leader of the GSA, raising a pride flag underneath the Canada flag. But there was a weird chunk in the middle where I hated it so much, and I was like, man, I'm a horrible person for not liking men. So.
Put it over the Canada flag.
Replace it.
Yeah, so mine wasn't great. Rocket, your first coming out, if you want to share.
You made up for it in other ways. Your overall experience in the queer community definitely not as negative.
I mean, in terms of my experience, it hasn't really been much. But I mean, I had a very close friend, and I was like, hey, it's very on the nose. But it went very well. I'm very happy about it. And I wish everyone could have that kind of experience, conversation, and you laugh it off, and you're like, that's great. And that's it. It's a non-starter. And people are like, cool. And you move on. I wish everyone could experience that, but obviously not everyone can. And it's a huge bummer. It's not much of a story, but to me, it's a first step. I feel okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's good when it goes well. It's a good feel-good story.
It's a feel-good.
I don't know if mine went well. It's just it was a mess is what it was.
It made me laugh. I really like it. A lot of people are afraid to come out to their parents because they're scared of being disowned, was one of them. Someone else said they fear they won't be taken seriously or viewed as attractive, and being AFAB, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means, and attracted to men. They worry that they will become less desirable
that makes sense.
from not being femme all the time and just basically losing respect. No, it's not self-absorbed. They asked if it was self-absorbed, and it's not. These fears are very real and very valid. It's a confusing thing.
Don't let anyone make you feel like you're being self-absorbed, selfish, or anything for being concerned about stuff like this. It's very valid. Those are legitimate fears for me as well. Getting disowned and stuff is an actual thing that happens to people and has happened to people for this.
And my dad supports trans people but thinks that non-binary people are taking it too far, and my mom doesn't care about LGBTQ plus as much. It's just kind of, you see that they're accepting some parts of the community, but they're not accepting the part that you're in, and it's just kind of like, oh.
That is a huge problem, actually. People that are against trans people, that is a huge thing in the LGBT community. People that are against asexual people or aromantic people, that's a huge thing. And it's like, why do you have to be like, I like 56% of you, but the rest of you just not real, illegitimate.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you have to be like that?
It reminds me of the whole lesbian bi division. There's like a portion of the lesbian community out there somewhere on the internet that I've seen making YouTube videos about how bisexual people need to just pick women or men, and that they're just lesbians in disguise.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, considering I like both, but I'm sitting right here.
Yeah. Like, I do see the appeals of both. I mean, I prefer women for sure, but I don't think it'd be hard to pick. So don't. Why would you if you don't have to?
I mean, it's not even that it's hard to pick. I'm not picking. I'm just attracted to who I'm attracted to. And I notice that there's a trend between typically just a binary. I don't typically get attracted to someone in the middle, so I stick with bi because I feel like that's the most accurate description. And so that's how it is.
Yeah. That is fair.
Not even about choices. It's just about attraction.
Yeah. And someone said people don't usually take it/you seriously. Of course, the fear of not being accepted in general. Also, I don't like giving vocabulary lessons. I really relate to that last line because sometimes people expect, because you're in the community, to know everything about it.
I don't. It's hard.
Yeah, there's so much information and technical terms and all kinds of shit. It's just
I'm learning all the time. I do public speaking about this stuff, and I still don't know everything. Someone will come up to me and be like, "Oh, I'm this, and this," and I'm like, "Excuse me, what? Please tell me. I don't know this new word."
There's studies on everything that's going on, trying to figure out ways to define what the way people are feeling and organizing and identifying.
Yeah. And now, the good part. This is the best part because the funny stories. So someone here came out to their brother by sending them a picture that says, "I put the bi in B word that I'm not saying." Almost said it. Yes, I like it.
Jill alone.
Are you guys attacking me? No.
They want you to say the B word.
No.
Whoa.
I swore once on this podcast, I'm not doing it again.
Okay, Jill.
And then someone else made a me at their friend's house, but gave it their new name. I love that.
Aw, I love that.
That's super cute.
That is cute, and I love it. Just imagine you and the other person just sitting there on the couch making a me, and they're like, "Why are you doing that?" And you're just like, "Well, surprise." I really like that one. And Emcee, care to share yours?
Yeah. So I won't take too long telling the story, but short story of what happened. I was in college. I think it was my sophomore year, and I was in love with my best friend, but I was still coming to terms with the crush. And so I went to an a cappella retreat because I was in a cappella at the time, and we all were gonna sleep over at this apartment that one of the girls in our a cappella group was staying at, and we all got really wasted, which is a typical college thing to do. And then they were flirting in front of me, and they thought I was straight, so they obviously didn't realize that I might have a crush on one of them. And so I was really upset, and I was really jealous, and I was still trying to figure out whether I liked her or not. And I remember them asking one of the girls that lived there. She wanted the friend that I had a crush on to stay there with her, and so she asked me to leave because I was the last person there. And so I was like, okay, I will. And I lived across the street, and I called my friends, and I was like, I'm really drunk, and I need help walking across the street, honestly. And so they came outside, and they came to pick me up, and I left the apartment, and I ran into my friend's arms, and I was just crying, and I was just going, I'm so bisexual, I'm so bi. And that is how I came out to my friends.
Honestly, I love that. As brutal as it is, it's very brutal. But I mean, oh my god,
it's brutal but funny because you just no context to them.
No, they were like, okay, honey. They were very confused. It was very
like,
funny.
all right. Yeah. When I came out to my best friend, he was like one of the first people I came out to. We both called each other and were like, hey, I really need to talk to you. And so we went to his house into the shed in the backyard, which has been our hangout since we were, I don't know, really young. And it's still our hangout now. We just go to the back of the shed and we talk. And I was like, okay, let's say it on the count of 3 because that way we'll laugh at how our words tumble over each other. And we both said, I'm gay. And then we both started laughing. And then we both kind of looked at each other and both went, I knew it. At the same time. Because he had known that I wasn't straight my whole life. And I had known that he wasn't straight his whole life. But neither of us knew it ourselves. So it was funny.
That's super cute.
Wholesome moment.
We still laugh about that. Weird stuff happens.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock. Is there any way that we can wrap this up really quick? Is there anything else to talk about before we close?
I'd say the why is pride important. Just run through those real quick. We have. It reminds me that everything I've experienced and the struggles I face today are valid and real. There are others like me. Growing up with the idea of liking girls was my biggest fear, and I kept it repressed. Pride means I can acknowledge that part of me and not be afraid. It gives me strength I didn't have in middle school. Pride is important to me because each and every person is themselves and no one else. No one should be allowed to discriminate others on the basis of their sexuality or gender. More importantly, such kinds of shackles placed by society should not continue to exist. Everyone is an independent human being and should be entitled to the same life as everyone without any prejudice. Are there any other ones that you guys are looking at in here?
Pride is being yourself unapologetically. You can come to terms with who you are even if others don't. You can discover something new about your identity and embrace it and meet new people with a similar mindset. And it's a celebration of shared history and culture that we continue to make and fight for, which I like because I really relate with being myself unapologetically. I love the whole month of June because I feel like it's an excuse to shout to my friends and people that I am out to that I'm gay. Not something that we always talk about.
Yeah. I wrote there are so many terrible things that have happened in my life and the lives of those around me that wouldn't have happened if we were not part of the LGBTQ plus community. And being queer should not be a burden or something that someone hates about themselves or tries to repress because it's not something we can change. But being proud is a choice. So I'm going to choose to be proud instead. And there's also countries in the world where people are killed or imprisoned for being not cishet. So that's not cool.
Ditto.
Yeah, it feels like the one time of the year that I let myself let go of the fact that I can't tell as many people, everyone in my family, and put it on Facebook. It feels like I let go of all of that. It's almost like that doesn't exist to me for the month of June, and I'm just okay with it.
Yeah, it's the month where I can be excited about it instead of worried about it.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Someone wrote a giant paragraph. My goodness. It took me a long time and a long journey to realize who I am and be okay with that. Pride is all about making sure that fewer and fewer people have to go through that. It can hurt really bad to not be sure who you are is good and right and acceptable. And it can be especially hard if, like me, you come from a family or community that isn't accepting. Pride is an individual celebration, but it's also a time and an ongoing decision to loudly and openly declare that there's nothing wrong with me or you or anyone for being gay or bi or trans or non-binary or anywhere on the rainbow because it isn't just for you. It's for kids like me who need to see proud and open people and to start them on their journey to accepting themselves. It's for kids who need to see us, all of us, as human. It's a memorial to all the people who came before us who didn't get to be so open. It's a promise for a better future and a reminder of where we came from, and it isn't just one month of the year. It's every single time any single one of us refuses to let the world beat us down. I think that's a good one to end on.
Wow, that's killer.
All encompassing.
Ooh, my goodness.
Snaps for all of this. I like Princhy threw in why pride is important to her in the chat.
Yes.
She said, I didn't answer the form, so I'll keep it short, but the word pride is important to me because, at least in my case, being anything other than straight comes with a whole lot of shame. And being proud acknowledges that struggle and how far you've come.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Same. 100%.
Up arrow.
And I think that's why it's called Pride.
Yes.
Be proud of it.
Be proud of who we are.
It's a good word for this. I don't know what other word you would pick.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. We do have to wrap up because it's 7:06.
Yes. This was a full episode. We lied about the mini-sode. It's just a giant episode on Pride.
We are not sorry. This was a good topic.
Thank you for sticking with us through the entire episode, even though it was longer than what it was projected to be.
Yeah.
Oops. I think I said in the chat, I was like, I can talk about Pride for an hour. That's fine.
Yeah, I can still keep going, but we gotta end the podcast.
Right. It is 7 already. I don't know how we got here, daughter.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, putting up with this, listening to us talk about ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
I want to announce a short thing in caps next to it. It says, talk about the ability to listen to previous podcasts soon for real this time, because it's not going to lie this time and going to actually upload the first episode.
And use the suggestion box.
I will do it. Use the suggestion box. Damn it. Angry E9. Good.
If there's anything you want us to talk about, put it in there.
Our segments from before that weren't on this episode, but we're going to be Team Tartarus and the Legends Cup will be in future episodes. I don't know when Team Tartarus is going to be because we need more information from them and they're figuring out what they're up to. And so we're just going to see if we have a viability to be able to make that a segment. And then as far as Legends Cup goes, RPF won on Saturday, so congratulations to them.
Woo!
And we'll be discussing and talking more about Legends Cup and that whole exciting situation and tournament and happening eventually in the future. Probably next week. Hopefully I can organize that and we can figure that out. If you have other ideas for segments, please throw them at us. And if you have other ideas, for example, for segments that we do, so Jillmothy's Reviewmothy, if you have something you want Jill to review, please hit Jill up. Give us content.
If it's available in Canada and I can get my hands on it, I will do it.
Please make sure it's available in Canada. And then anything like
find a way.
If there are words that you want me to figure out for the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, you can DM Pookie or Alti words that I probably won't know because I'm quote unquote a boomer or whatever. And other things like that, or just suggestions for whole content. We just did a Pride segment out of nowhere because Pride. Just give us things that are going on or that you guys are interested in that you think it would be interesting to cover. Put it in the suggestion box. We love that. If you guys want to help podcast out and you have some way of contributing, if you want to do graphics, if you want to do something, let me know, and I will try and figure out where I can fit you. And thank you guys for coming.
Yes.
Thanks for filling out the survey.
Yes, thank you so much for filling out that survey on such short notice. We had way more results than I thought I was going to get. So, thank you. And I also want to note that in the script, we had nothing to share. This is just fun for me to share. So in the script at the end, there's usually Pookie's Dungeon. I don't know why he named it that in the beginning. A long time ago when we first started doing this, it has always been his dungeon. But he's not even here, but it's Pookie's Dungeon. And it's Cassie's Dungeon today, correct? But typically it has links and pictures and things that we want to share relevant to the episodes because he's usually the backstage manager and he works behind the scenes to let me know when I need to move on to the next segment or share something. And so he'll post it in main chat. And so it's Cassie's today, we know. Yeah. But today we didn't have much to share other than what Rocket had under his belt. So it literally said, it literally said, he was prepared. He threw out some interesting information. I was like, wow. So Pookie's Dungeon just has milk, eggs, segment ideas, and pasta.
But I love milk.
We know.
I love milk.
I like eggs, personally. I'm gonna give us if we can get us all together on the same page here now and do a nice fight the good fight for our viewers. Fight the good fight.
Hooah! Oh, I'm sorry.
Fight the good fight.
Fight the good fight. Hooah!
Love is love.